I mean, it's an incredible honor, and really thrilled to be here, and just a huge congratulations to all of the graduating students. It was really like just a remarkable ceremony, and you really did feel the amount of effort and work that has gone into this, to the students' lives and what they've been working on. The building, the university has this kind of, this rich and extraordinary history, this incredible lasting legacy of learning, and right in, the center of London, amongst all of these other institutions and across the street there from the British Museum, so this sort of location that really embodies the spirit of education, of learning, and the kind of international aspect of learning, and the international aspect of the school, and this sort of locality is just really rewarding and rich, and reflects London as well in an incredible way. So for all of those reasons, and several more really, I was very excited to be part of this today. I started my career, with Shakespeare, and it's really how I fell in love I fell in love with the literature before I fell in love with performance of acting, and it really was and that's what's remarkable, because I went up to see the first folio, and it's opened at Henry IV Part 1, which is the play that I remember, going through at school on a wet Wednesday, and getting captured by this remarkable language and emotion of Hal in the story of Henry IV Part 1. So it is a bit of a full circle moment for me to go up there and see the first folio, and it's opened to Henry IV Part 1, which was one in Shakespeare's time, one of his most popular plays, and it's right here. So it was great. It was great to see that. First of all, they just need to celebrate so profoundly their achievement today, and really enjoy the moment of that after obviously what has been an incredible amount of hard work and effort to get to this point. And then going out, I suppose, into the world of their chosen subjects. That it's I think all of it is such a ride. That. I think you have to find what defines success for you, and then stick by that, and not really listen to what is defining success for anybody else. Sometimes the hardest thing is that you kind of get caught up in a wave of other people's opinions of what you should be doing, thinking, and where you should be, what you should be achieving, and so on. And actually, really what I think is that ultimately those are for you to decide, and to sort of decide that in a kind of meta way and work towards that, I think, is the key to any sort of lasting happiness and enjoyment. Take it easy on yourself. I think whenever you're taking on a big project, a project of this kind of magnitude, these kinds of sizes, that you are always going to hit those moments of feeling that you can't quite get out of it what you want, that the road feels very uphill, and you kind of have to be able to build in ways of not punishing yourself about that, of accepting that sometimes it's just so tricky, it's so difficult, and you have to be able to kind of breathe through that, because as you do, it sort of starts to resolve itself. It always gets easier as you push through those kind of points. I've always found in my life that you look back and you wish that you hadn't given yourself quite as hard a time as you gave yourself, because giving yourself the hard time actually ultimately made it more difficult. Giving yourself a break, understanding that you are trying to do something incredibly hard, incredibly challenging, very, very difficult, allowing yourself to feel that and continue to push through it, I think could be helpful. Shakespeare was just so formative, just such an important part of me deciding to work in the arts. I literally went around school telling people that I discovered this great writer. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, there's this guy, William Shakespeare. He's really, and people were a bit like, yeah, he's quite well known. And I remember that I was like 13, and it was because there was something in the literature that really spoke to me on a profound level. Stuff that I didn't think that I certainly hadn't seen anybody write about before, and stuff that really penetrated where my psychology was at that point, and it felt like a sort of miracle. It felt like somebody was really speaking to me about this experience of life and the complexity of it. And I was interested in then trying to see where, the medium in which these things are actually supposed to be done. So that's why I went to the theatre. I went to the theatre at school because I was really moved by this text, and they happened to be doing, the next production was Measure for Measure. So I auditioned for Measure for Measure, and I played the part of Angelo, and and then that was the beginning of my whole kind of life as an actor, and it was really that connection to Shakespeare, and then starting to do the Shakespearean plays, starting to do Measure for Measure and Julius Caesar, Othello, various others, just became it was almost like an unthinking part of my reality. If I finished doing a play or finished engaging in a play, I was only just sort of looking to the next one. Well, what's next? So yeah, I just fell deeply in love with it, and with the Shakespearean text and Shakespearean thinking. I think arts, humanities are just critical to the way that we see the world, the way that we interact with each other, the way that we understand each other, the way that we understand the sort of experiment, the generational experiment that we're going on, and how it relates to our future, our family's future, and the past. How art enables us to really philosophize in profound ways, how the humanities are able to engage both our intellect but our spirit, our soul, the very fundamental things that make us human and our humanity, and they should be infused into every single aspect of what we do, and probably hold the keys to solving a lot of the riddles that we face. We can't rely heavily on other things, not as deeply as we can on our spirit and our cultural identity. We need those things in order to relate to each other and to relate to people around the world. It's what unites us, our absolute common humanity.